art, comedy, pop culture, and much more. You're listening to ACPN.
Hello, young Swimcast citizens. Space Ghost here, a.k.a. George Lowe, inviting you in for all of the creamy, enjoyable listening goodness. Let's ladle some up right now, shall we?
Everybody, it's that time again. Time for a Swimcast.
Hey, it's Swimcast, brought to you by Adult Swim Central and Art Comedy Pop Culture Network. You could visit us on the web, acpnet.net. This is the Swimcast. It's the longest running Adult Swim podcast on the internet. And we are live on getvocal.com. as well as a buttload of other places. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube right now. We're on the Twitch. Having fun, talking about Adult Swim. Where does the camera point? That way. So, although I think it's not going to be the same order, but I'm looking at her over here. This is Trish. And in the corner, in the complete darkness, is Jason.
Hello.
And our special guest from Guild of Calamitous Podcast, Mr. Rilo W Ward. How you doing, sir?
But we'll get to that, won't we?
I mean, a lot has happened in the last week, and I guess we should talk about the cajillion-ton elephant in the room, which is the cancellation of Stuart Baker from Squidbillies. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. He is a piece of shit, and he's gone now. And that's all I got to say about that. Now, the unfortunate news is that Venture Brothers was canceled. In not so many words. I mean, and we can take a deep dive on that. We are going to take a deep dive on that, but just like a lot of emotions, a lot of things going on, a lot of speculation. We're going to be discussing what we know so far, what I know, basically, because I wrote everything out. Rumors, innuendos, tons of speculation. So a lot of this should be taken, as opinion rather than fact. So don't go on a website, don't go to /film or comicbook.com and go, oh my God, the Adult Swim podcast said, so-and-so, a giant vampire came out of the night and killed the Venture Brother scripts.
But that's what I heard was true. I also heard it was Antifa.
God damn it, Antifa!
God.
Thanks, Obama.
It's the deep state.
It is. That's what did it.
QAnon told us that AT&T is run by the deep state, and they said, "Get that Venture Brothers shit out of my house."
It's all run out of a pizza parlor.
So I mean,
wasn't that?
Yes.
That one.
Probably. It's a pizza parlor. No. This is strictly. This is basically what's common knowledge and a mix of that and what we think as opinion. So let's start from the top. So last Saturday, someone close to the Venture crew who co-authored the Art of Venture Brothers book, he tweeted a very vague statement about Venture potentially being canceled, which caused a severe panic in the fandom, considering there was zero context with the exception of Jackson liking the post. It was well, what did it mean? What, what is canceled? What is, thousands of, important things, going through people's heads. I know my head was like, is it true? Is it, how far is it true? Is it going to be a final season thing? Are we getting a movie like we did with Delocated? What's going on? So then, because of that, they got Venture Brothers trending on Twitter Saturday night. So then between Saturday and Monday, it sat there, it marinated, and there were like mixed decisions about it. Like, people were stating the show was canceled. Others were questioning the MO of the individual who did the vague tweet. I know Reddit, for instance, was like, oh, he's doing stuff at Dragon Con. I wonder if he's doing it to drum up interest. And I'm like,
Which it did get people to attend the We Got This panel with Doc and Jackson on. Yeah. Hal and Mark.
Right. And I do like that show, but I kind of clocked out of Dragon Con at that point.
Yeah.
And then, regardless, by the time Monday rolled around, Jackson Public had the official announcement on Twitter, and I'm going to read that. He says, unfortunately, it's true. Venture Brothers has been canceled. We got the highly disappointing news a few months ago while we were writing what would have been season 7. We thank you, our amazing fans, for 17 years of your kind and patient attention. And as always, we love you. So
17 years?
Short and sweet. Yeah.
17 years, 7 seasons, about to
be. Holy shit.
Yep.
I am so fucking old.
Me too.
And I was like, this is too cheesy. What the hell am I watching? And then I watched a few more episodes and I was like, go Team Venture.
You're talking to someone who grew up alongside Hank and Dean. So
I know, I was in college.
I was an actual child watching it. I should not have been.
I was in college.
You were in college.
I was in college, mostly slacking off in gaming, like until 5 a.m. Sometimes 8 a.m. But
and
yeah,
that's college. I mean, that's what you do in college.
Yeah.
I was in middle school.
Well, so yeah, Venture fans were in mourning, paying their respects to Jackson, Doc. I know a lot of the cast members tweeted out stuff. James Urbaniak, Hal Lublin, Patton Oswalt even tweeted some stuff and, thanked the fans. Venture, on Monday, Venture trended again, which is pretty cool. And then after all of the outrage from the fans, Adult Swim decided to respond with what honestly sounded like a form message.
Mm-hmm.
We also want more Venture Brothers and have been working with Jackson and Doc to find another way to continue the Venture Brothers story. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Why not? I mean, to me, it sounded a lot like the wording that Brendan Small used when Metalocalypse was canceled, but I know it's not the same thing because Brendan squandered the money they were giving him for a final season for the rock opera.
Mm.
So there's that.
Yeah. So for me, it's been really hard because, I'm on Insta like every night before bed, just going through shit. And I'll see Adult Swim's posts and I have to fight the urge to be like, bring back Venture Brothers, bring back your pretty face. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Bring back Aqua Teen, bring back Assy McGee, bring back Fat Guy Stuck in Internet.
Assy McGee. No, Assy McGee can... I mean, it was good, but, like...
It can stay.
I liked it. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it, too.
No, that was one I never...
Yeah.
I never got into. I never got the appeal.
And it's funny, a lot of people didn't, and then towards the end, people were like, wow, this is actually pretty funny, and then they canceled it.
Yeah.
That's how I felt about Eric Andre, but we'll get to that later.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So then, on top of everything, we received Doc Hammer's response Tuesday morning via Facebook, because he's not really a Twitter guy. He used to have Twitter where he would log his bowel movements, which was epic.
And his urination, but his Facebook statement was really really eloquent.
He is
And maybe
he is
cry a bit.
very much the wordsmith. I'll read his right now. Yup, canceled. You're right by saying sucks. Here's my take on the whole thing. The big picture of it, the hows, whys, and what nows are still shrouded in secret codes passed in clandestine meetings. But what really matters to me is what the Venture Brothers is, was, and always shall be. The Venture Brothers is a little baby made by me and Jackson. From the sweaty foundry of our love, experience, and connection, we made a thing that touched some of you deeply. Neat. That love foundry hasn't been shut down. Jackson and I are still in love with you and each other, so if we make another baby, you got to promise to love it. I promise it will love you. How could it not? You're awesome, thrifty, clean, and have great taste. Go Team Venture. Very, very well put. And it seems like he's still, I mean, I'm sure they both are hopeful that something happens. But, and I know I threw a lot at everyone at once, but before we continue, just some thoughts. I've been depressed over this myself. Not so much because the show was being canceled. I mean, Lord knows, like we just said, Assy Mickey, but Swim has burned me countless times with my favorite shows being canned. I mean, there was a point between, I want to say 07 and maybe like 09, 2010, where they just cleaned house on a number of programs and replaced them with all the Fox shows. You know, I know Trish coined the phrase, where do you want the Fox stick? So
everywhere, in every orifice, that's where it goes.
I forget.
Like,
I forget.
maybe that's right.
I forget if it was you or Adam, or like the Seth MacFarlane circle jerk.
That was me, and I regret saying that actually, because he is brilliant and his work is amazing.
Nothing against Seth MacFarlane, but when you're replacing.
It was The Cleveland Show. It was Family Guy, all back to back, multiple episodes of each.
Yep.
For like 4 hours.
You're going from original content, which started at like 9, 10 o'clock, and then you're adding an extra hour, but then you're taking the first 3 hours and pumping it full of the same content that we really don't need over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do appreciate now that they mix it up a little bit. They have some Rick and Morty, they have some Bob's Burgers, and some other stuff. But like, I don't know. I don't get it, and maybe I'm not meant to because I'm not in programming. But anyway, there was that whole period of time, and I think more. I was depressed because I know the fandom behind Venture, and I, like Rilo, I'm sure can relate. It's a big, happy. It's not like Metalocalypse where we're like, oh, it's metal, kill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's our approach to it has been vastly different from the Metalocalypse. Mm-hmm. Fandom's approach.
And I hate to keep comparing it to that. I mean, I can compare it to Aqua Teen, but like I said previous, I was content by the time they said it was done.
Yeah.
Yeah. People are simply comparing it because it just on the surface looks the same. And like I've written a whole thesis like multiple times over about how the situations are different, but the same, but not. But the Venture fandom on a whole, we're relatively, welcoming, easygoing. I mean, Astro Base Go was their first thing was Soulbot, this robot that just wanted love. And so, it's always, the fandom in general has always been based on sort of
exactly.
around that.
And I can go on forever name dropping people like Anne Marie from Venture Compound is the most awesome woman in the fandom. I even said she's the heart of the fandom. Chandra Free. I have friends like Samantha and Mike that I've met through all kinds of people. Rilo, and my heart breaks for the fandom because I know how awesome and dedicated they are for the show. Going to Dragon Con, I've seen how passionate they are with the swag, with the costumes, and it's just amazing stuff.
And it's a blow because we sort of thought we were secure for at least one more season. Because as far as everyone knew until Jackson confirmed it, money had exchanged hands. Doc had posted like back in February that they were writing. That he'd be at his gallery showing, but he may be in the corner writing Venture Brothers. And so everyone was like, "Oh yeah, season 8's still going on." So it came just out of left field and blindsided all of us.
Exactly. Any other thoughts before I move on?
I'm just pissed off. Like, Venture Brothers is one of the most famous Adult Swim shows. I think it has one of the biggest fan bases from what I've seen. And Venture Brothers fans are kind of on a different level than the fans of the other shows, because they're so, like, Rilo, you're so dedicated and invested and just in love, with the show. And it's like obsessed, in a good way. And Warner is just like, fuck it. We don't need it. Done. And it's like, come on, like, give us season 8, give us 4 or 5 episodes of season 8, just so we can wrap shit up.
Because as Jackson said, they were in the middle of writing it. And then there are like rumors that are unconfirmed that, they had like 4 episodes in the can already, ready to go into production. So it's like,
yeah, and who knows, the background of that, because I know, that isn't that part of the whole reason there's such a slow turnaround is because of the animation.
From what I part of it is that, but also part of it is it's not a writer's room. It's just Doc and Jackson. And they're so careful and they're so dedicated to not just the show and the characters, but their fans. They don't want to give us a product that, they're meticulous with continuity. And if they mess up, they feel bad about it. Like, they've mentioned it. Oh yeah, no. Like in commentary, when they're not talking about something that's completely unrelated to the Venture Brothers, they'll mention, oh yeah, no, that's a continuity error. I felt so stupid. Like, little things like that. And they they also relied on the fandom for keeping them in check with that too. Like, they openly said they used the wiki, which is the Venture Brothers wiki.
Oh yeah.
Immense and huge. But like, the fact that they put so much effort into making sure that they were delivering a product that did right by the fans every time. I'm sure that had something to do with it. And then also, I mean, I don't know if everyone knows about the most recent issue with writing, I think, was also Doc's recent health problems that had also delayed it. And Jackson moved to California. So it was a lot of stuff that I think delayed season 8 a bit more writing. But at the same time, when you like, it looks kind of off when you factor in that, it's pretty well known that Doc for a while was paralyzed and he was recovering, and then they canceled the show once he's better.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
And to me, the only other people in Adult Swim who I think had that much care for their fans are the Aqua Teen people, like Dave and Matt, and the Radical Axis people, like.
Well, they're the animation studio, but I get what you're saying.
Like, but the animators were as committed as Dave and Matt were, and I think it was a very similar thing, except Aqua Teen had been going on, for 11 seasons. Wasn't it 11? Was it more?
It's hazy for me because I don't remember it.
I want to say it was 11 because people keep comparing it to like what's the longest running Adult Swim show that just
and
got
for
canceled.
a while that was the longest running
Next
show,
one was
and then they
Aqua Teen.
started slapping in more Robot Chicken.
Yeah.
So it is 11.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I was about to pull it up on HBO Max, but yeah.
1 through 7, and then Unit Patrol Squad, something, whatever.
See, that's where it was getting hazy for me because I don't remember what. And they're technically not
they
really
renamed
seasons,
it,
and that was
yeah.
something that was told to me by the Aqua Teen guys initially. Was they're not technically seasons. It's just I guess eventually they bunched them into seasons because those first 2 seasons are like from 2000 to like 2003 or 2004.
Yeah, I always figured that like with a lot of shit like that with Swim, it's more or less like they give episode orders, and then eventually when it gets up on something, they get clumped together if they need to categorize it in the season. Because like, look at like Space Ghosts and how those like eventually they stopped even referring to it as seasons, and it was like volumes when they came out with DVDs. And like the last grouping on like if you look at HBO Max, the last like grouping of for the season is like 2 episodes on there or something like that. I don't know if that's because they lost some rights or something, but like the last quote-unquote season is like 2 episodes long, and that's not a season. I figure they just do like orders, and that's it.
Yeah.
And like another kind of comparison with Aqua Teen is, okay, I'm hearing me.
Yeah, I hear echo.
Echo. Okay, another comparison with Aqua Teen is like Carrie Means. Doesn't he do he like draws stuff for people, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's doing like a lot of Aqua Teen art because there's a lot of contention, I guess, between him and I'm guessing what used to be Turner because of how what his pay was or so. I'm not getting into that really. That's a whole other avenue, which I mean it's been disputed.
He loves his fans. He's so kind and sweet.
Yes, I agree with that.
He's always posting in the Facebook group.
Anyway, let's not get on an Aqua Teen tangent because I can go on forever and ever.
It's in my heart.
But and also when you bring up their treatment of talent too, you'd be remiss to not mention how they treated
Clay. Yeah. I mean, that's
so it's like they have a track record, but also at the same time,
and not just
a different
them
situation.
because I feel like it goes beyond how they treated Clay because I feel like what happened to John Schnepp is parallel with that because these guys who are animators, directors, and they put out all this awesome content and then they don't have health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting now on a political tangent, but. It's absurd.
And
I do.
It's all.
I do know. I do know. Doc has mentioned, like on his Facebook, that he is like, he gets coverage through like SAG. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
that SAG really helped out.
That was good
when he was laid up. So I don't know how many other talent within that realm qualify.
I really don't know how that works. I just know, this is again my speculation about how, like I'm paralleling the 2 gentlemen who are no longer with us and how, yeah, absolutely. I keep John Schnepp on my wall, but apparently he keeps moving from wall to wall because we don't know where to put the poor guy. But anyway, getting back to Venture, I feel like I should talk about what we do know about the show at this point. And I don't really want to say too much about the initial vague tweet, vague post, whatever you want to call it. I mean, Jackson liked the post, and I wouldn't be surprised if the author was coerced into writing it by someone, and they thought that whoever told him to do that was like convinced, okay, well, he'll get interest drummed up, and typical to that author's character, he was the vague harbinger of doom and caused more of an uproar than it needed to be. And then that caused Jackson to run damage control by flat out saying, okay, it's canceled. We can't, we're not doing season 8, blah, yada, yada. And I mean, unless that was the intention all along, considering it was trending that night. So.
Yeah. It got noise, and it got everyone to be like, well, are we in danger of losing the show? What's our plan next? Right. Like, are we going, like, we're gonna start sending letters already?
I mean, personally, I think it was a combination of the optics, the timing, and the vagueness, and all three of those kind of botched art book guys tweet. And I really cannot imagine that Swim was too happy about how it was presented.
Oh no! I don't think Swim is probably that pleased. Like that's my that's my theory too. I'm like they're because also I mean part of me wonders like if he mentioned it vaguely, and it seems like on the surface it seems like the cast and the whole team
Jackson said they've known for 3 months, and that's going to be my next topic is, the information there.
Like maybe they were waiting to announce, like they were trying to find a new home for it, and then waiting to announce, and then art book guy sort of dropped the ball. Like that's a whole like theory that I've spitballed with some people.
I mean,
like.
I'm thinking about it. I kind of like the way Art Book Guy let everybody know, because it was a big fuck you to Warner, and I think Warner needs a big fuck you.
I don't know if I feel the same way about that, but I mean, knowing Art Book Guy's track record, I could see him being the mopey, vague and mopey is his thing.
But I mean, he was the whistleblower.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And maybe that was the bottom line there. I don't, like I said, I don't want to talk too much about that. I'd rather talk about the rest of what we know than the speculation, Jackson saying that they were notified a few months ago. I'm wondering, a few months ago is usually when they have the upfront season. That's when all the networks heard their current talent in New York, and they try and entice advertisers and brands to buying ad space. And then they throw their fancy parties with, Miley Cyrus and Outkast and, Yeezy. And we're never invited to that. Historically, we've never been given an invite, despite the fact that adults...
Do you really want to go to a party with Yeezy?
Well, at the time, I probably would have wanted to.
Yeah, when that actually happened, that was cool as hell. Now it's just I don't think he even did.
Well, last year they had Warner Media proper, so that was probably AT&T, trying to save money again.
When they had him, it was pre
lunatic,
pre-manic, weird
party,
religious rebirth.
Harriet Tubman.
But was it post
quote unquote Catholic music?
Was it post Beyonce had a way better video than Taylor Swift?
Maybe. Yeah. I think it might have been around the time of Dark Days of Fantasy.
Might have been right before that. I don't remember.
Okay, because I'm a Swiftie.
But I mean, we've always been considered online press, but we've never been invited. But obviously, we weren't invited this year because it was canceled due to pandemic. So it only stands to reason that they would have been notified there, because that's when Swim would say, okay, we're coming back with Aqua Teen, we're coming back with this, we're coming back with that, and this isn't coming back, or they'd make a subtle note, oh yeah, we're not picking this up or whatever. So from there, I don't know who would have been the one to tell him. I mean, Lazo retired at the end of last year, and I still don't know how to pronounce his name, but Michael O'Willeen.
Olwen.
The guy who co-created
maybe?
Birdman took over as president in April, and that's president. That's not even vice president like Lazo is. Keith Crawford's still the VP. So, I mean, Michael O took over, technically what is now Warner Media, which I think is technically Cartoon Network, Swim, Boomerang, and whatever other animated stuff they got.
TBS.
No, I think someone
some of the TBS stuff.
Yeah, I think someone else handles the live action channels, because even
the live the Close Enough and
I did notice Close Enough was
too.
That's true too.
Well, isn't Warner Media just the broad term for, like, the broad thing for like their entire suite of brands, basically?
Right, and I'm gonna touch on that in a minute, but maybe it was even someone higher up than Crawford or Michael O, and we'll get to that in a bit. The other thing that I kind of get out of this is reading stuff on Twitter, hearing, and getting some tiny rumblings here and there. It sounds like the William Street staff were blindsided by this. Because, I mean, there were a lot of people, there were a couple of people from, like, Adult Swim, like the streams and stuff going, what the fuck, on Twitter. And then even a recent Adult Swim podcast, I think it was the Showdown. Kim Manning, who's in charge of programming, even mentioned season 8 was coming along, and it even implied that Doc and Jackson had written a potential ending. Because whoever the co-host was, if it was Max, what's his face, or whoever, was like they have an ending in planned.
See, that's why I'm apt to believe that Adult Swim tweet where they're like, we want it too.
Right.
That's why that sort of seems fairly sort of genuine to me, because this seems coming from something that's not in there, that's not internal at William Street. And they got blindsided by this whole thing themselves,
right?
Because I don't know if they would have done this themselves.
No, I'm sure they're not. Yeah, I'm sure they're not interested to lose one of their. Because I know people. Because I mean, Doc in the art book, he says the show feels like. What's special about the show is people feel like it was made just for them. But if you step outside of that feeling for a second, you're like. Yeah, this is one of the flagship properties.
One of the out of I want to say the
Swim.
original 10 shows that Adult Swim put out. It's one of the more prestigious shows.
Yeah, and it's consistently listed as one of the best shows, best cartoons.
It really is like a tentpole. Like, it's a tentpole of the network. Like it's because like even regardless of like how long you wait between seasons, which I know is always like a. It's always a thing, but like even with how long this show's been on and how long it's been between seasons, they don't give up on it.
Right.
The network. No. And because it's like a stalwart. It's an icon of Adult Swim. And it's just a weird thing that it doesn't seem like the network themselves, if they had a say in this, they'd be like, oh, yeah, we'll cut this one.
Yeah, and also it's because the fan base, like you said, we're dedicated. We're a dedicated group. I've been with it since I joined the fandom proper probably when I was like 13 on the Adult Swim message boards. Like, so
why weren't you on the Adult Swim Central message boards?
I don't know if we had any at the time.
I was 13 and I thought the Adult Swim message board sounded great. And I just wanted to talk about Venture Brothers. And you got trolled every time you made a post. Yeah! It was great. But the Venture people were super nice.
My cat Isis loved Pee-wee's Playhouse. Like, she would watch it every night. I had to turn it on because she'd just sit there like,
see, there was a whole. I remember that summer, like we went on vacation that summer, and my sister and I would just stay up and watch Pee-wee while it was airing.
I think are they?
Yeah, it became a thing for my dad and I. We sort of bonded over watching it. It was a nice little sweet thing for a kid. And my dad is 70. He watched it with my older sister, who's 13 years old.
Okay.
So it was like getting to do that again.
That's nice.
But with the youngest kid.
That's nice.
So.
I think, doesn't IFC air the Pee-wee reruns now?
I don't know if it's in reruns anymore. I know it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
But I don't think
If nothing else, they run it on
syndicated
Netflix,
anymore.
so I guess that's cool.
Yeah, Netflix has the rights, and Shout Factory has like
so it's probably on
Blu-rays and
Shout
stuff.
Factory. So anyway, I have two theories that I've jotted down. I went nuts with, rumors and innuendos, and I said
You did.
I did.
I agree with them.
And I couldn't open the documents. So
These are mostly my notes, but if you want to follow along, it's fine. I mean, the first theory I have is it was AT&T and it was a money thing. And I think since the vague tweet, there have been a ton of questions. And first, I said this earlier, wasn't there a season 8 in development? And the short answer to that is, yeah, but because contracts are an odd thing. There's always some catch-22 or way out of them. And the most obvious answer I could think of right now would be the change between Turner Network and Warner Media. So when AT&T purchased Time Warner in 2018, they consolidated a lot of what used to be Turner Network. So Adult Swim Cartoon Network, True TV, TBS, TNT, CNN, Turner Classics, so on and so forth. And then they merged it with pretty much all the other Time Warner properties, stuff like HBO, Cinemax, Warner Brother Movie Studios, Warner Brother Animation, DC Comics, and eventually HBO Max. And that all was consolidated to form what is now Warner Media. And so there's that. The other factor to this is AT&T has been hemorrhaging money. The first and foremost, they threw over $85 billion at this acquisition. So you're giving this money to say, okay, we're taking all this stuff in, and now amidst the pandemic, everything's hurting economically. So they're scrambling to sell and cut random properties. Yeah. They've already cut staff down at DC Comics. They're contemplating scrapping everything at the Atlanta branch of CNN. So it's possible by the time they got to cutting stuff at Swim, they looked at Venture and they said, well, we're spending too much money. It's taking too long. And their contract was under Turner, so we're cutting it. And no season 8. And blah, blah, blah. I'm AT&T. Antifa.
Obama.
Thanks, Obama.
Thanks, Obama.
The AT&T. The AT&T stands for Antifa.
Antifa
Trump.
I hate that.
Turducken.
There you go.
Trump turd.
And
Antifa Trump turd.
they're going to change
it.
They're going to change it from AT&T to AT&Q for QAnon.
Oh yeah, I like it.
Warner Media just got red pilled.
I hate that so much.
Wait, Warner
Thank
Media.
you.
I hate it
What?
too. Just got red pilled.
Just got red pilled.
Is that a
Red pilled.
I'm not into.
It's
a Matrix thing, but also the QAnon people co-opted it and turned it into a thing.
Yeah, the blue pill, red pill.
Oh, I don't.
Been awakened into the world of Q.
So QAnon
then
and Antifa are not part of these rumors of Venture Brothers, just so you people know. Just to keep it on track here.
No, we're joking.
So, this is just for the funnies.
But Obama was born in Kenya, right?
Obama
Gotta
what?
have some lulls.
He was born in Kenya.
No,
he was born in the Venture compound.
No.
Yes, he was born in cartoons.
See, and we'll never find that out.
God.
Because we don't get a
What if that's what the finale was going to be?
It was going to be Obama's behind the whole thing. The end.
Obama's the real sovereign.
Obama's the real sovereign.
Oh,
yes.
God.
And they actually get him for an episode.
Be funny. So, getting back on track. So that the AT&T the
Trish.
AT&T thing is one rumor, is one thing that I'm speculating on. That's one of my theories. The other theory is there's this rumor about the Hulu contract. So this is an interesting rumor from the I'm on the Reddit Discord for Adult Swim Reddit, and also at CN Schedules on Twitter. Posted this a few days ago, but it looks like it may hold some water. Because Hulu has contractual obligations with some of the swim shows, and I'm going to run down the list. It's Rick and Morty, which is apparently a non-exclusive deal because it's also on HBO Max. Eric Andre is getting a new season, so that's a pass. We'll talk about that in a bit. Okay. And then the other shows: Venture Brothers, which was just canceled; Mike Tyson, which was just canceled; Dream Corps, which is in limbo and may be canceled; Black Jesus, the same thing; Mr. Pickles, Your Pretty Face, which,
getting a finale.
Yeah. Neon Joe, which I guess is gone; Tim and Eric Bedtime Stories; and Children's Hospital, which is now Medical Police on Netflix. So, anyone notice a theme here? Yeah. With the exception, what?
Like, people are saying that, and I think there's some. Like, I get what you're saying. I'll let you finish your thought because I have a thing that kind of adds some validity to that, but kind of not.
Right. What I'm saying is, I know with the exception of Rick and Morty, because of the non-exclusive deal, and I guess now Eric Andre, since I wrote this, all those shows have either been canceled or are on the chopping block. They were, or in Children's Hospital and Mr. Pickles' case, they both got new names. Mr. Pickles is now Mama Made Me Sheriff for season 4. And actually, our friend Nick Gibbons on As Seen Adult Swim apparently joked about that it could be to prevent it from going to Hulu. And then, and then Netflix Children's Hospital is now Medical Police, like I said. So if this is true, it sounds an awful lot like how Disney canceled all the Marvel properties on Netflix, because the rumor there was that they're eventually going to run out the contracts and reboot them on either Disney Plus or Hulu. So.
The one thing I will say though is, to be fair, Tyson, I think the cancellation of Mike Tyson might be a little bit more credited to Tyson's getting back into.
Yeah, I was wondering that too. I think maybe they were.
I didn't know that
he's got a fight coming up.
He's got a fight coming up. Yeah,
really?
I think who is it? Roy Jones Jr. Isn't he another older boxer?
Potentially, yeah. That's what I.
Showdown of geriatric boxers.
I like it. Tyson is in nuts shape for his.
Oh no! I've seen Tyson.
Except for outside of that one time he was on AEW and Yawn.
I was going to mention that because also they hinted at him fighting Jericho. So I'm sure once the boxing match is over, they'll probably revisit that.
But I do think that Tyson Mysteries getting canceled might have something to do with that.
My theory.
So
my theory is he probably wanted more money, to do a 4th season.
That too. Yeah.
Because he's
supposedly that whole crew, the writing crew, are gonna do something new. I don't know.
That's cool.
Yeah. But I mean,
I'd watch.
But I will say the rest of it, I understand where you're coming from, because it sort of sound that way a little bit. Some contract malarkey.
Yeah. But what I'm thinking of is whether either of my theories are accurate. We've been around so long, the show, that we've seen a lot of crazy shit go on at Swim, like the past decade or so. Shows coming out, shows going, shows that are in production that are announced but never come out, like Type Bros. No one? Anyone?
Or
Or
Yeah.
Smiling Friends, people keep talking about that one, which I'm
Well,
tired
they're
of
only
people talking about Smiling
they're
Friends.
only talking about it because
that's
it's
a whole
Michael
different
Cusack
issue.
again.
That's a whole different beef.
Well, it's also it's that and it's Psychic Pebbles.
Is it
Who's decently big on like
the guy who does stuff with like Roiland?
Yeah, I honestly think that pilot was great, and I would love to see it, but that's about it.
It was, but
Yeah.
people talk about
So-
it.
Oh my
a
god,
little too
what's
much.
that one that I loved? I actually had holla every time I got a text message.
Oh yeah, I was gonna.
Oh, Cheyenne Cinnamon.
Thank you.
I have that on my
On your
Adult
what?
Swim Pilots
the
DVD.
pilot's DVD.
The pilot's DVD.
I don't know.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I got
Oh yeah.
it. Came in Adult Swim. in a
Yeah, so
box.
there's shows like that. There's shows that get pilots, they're put into production, and then they're repurposed. Like that Crooked Sip became Freaknik. There's shows like Stroker and Hoop and Saul, which get like one season and end on a cliffhanger. And then, like we said, Cheyenne Cinnamon, or even like Jack and Triumph, where the shows are just too much money or effort and don't make it past a pilot or even a season.
If you remember the old Neon Gnome pilot,
Yeah.
if you remember that one ended up becoming Problem Solvers on Cartoon Network, which is a shame,
Right.
because Problem Solvers wasn't great, but Neon Gnome was one of my favorite pilots ever.
Amazing. We still quote it.
And Problem Solver
I
is
think your
less
dog is great.
either.
Roller Blood.
Roller Blod. Should I call 9/11?
I need my wallet and my glasses.
Root beer salad.
That was great. That was one of those pilots that should have made it more than it was, but
Yeah.
you know.
Problem Solvers was not a good kids show.
I think they thought it would be.
I enjoyed
and then
it,
I
but
guess
I'm not a kid.
Because I think wasn't that around the time that they were scrambling for something other than Adventure Time or regular show?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was when they were tossing like lots of sort of shit against the wall. And
I think Mad was around the same time. Mad had its moments.
Mad was good. I enjoyed Mad. I thoroughly enjoyed Mad.
Secret Mountain Fort Awesome, I think, also was the one that aired.
I don't remember too much.
Yeah.
Someone commented on Facebook, Korgoth. Korgoth was like was like the epic.
Wow, people used to never shut up about Korgoth.
Wow,
and
yeah.
Even, spell it wrong. Cogroth, I think we got an email once.
Yeah. I wonder if people getting Primal made them shut up about Korgoth.
Yeah, I think Prime, because honestly, I thought Primal was that.
Yeah, that's fair. Actually, it very well could be.
What? Like that's honestly what I think. Like I looked at Primal, I'm like, oh, they finally made that one.
I remember when like
pilot they aired.
I remember when that was like the one pilot everybody went nuts about. It's like do Korgoth, do Korgoth. Oh my god, come on!
That was a really good one.
You know?
Can I just say though that Primal is really boring?
Enjoyed it.
I
only watched one episode.
I need to. Well, it's on HBO Max now, so I'll probably watch it at some point.
It's just a caveman and his dinosaur.
Yes, it is. I mean, I like Gendy
like
Tarakovsky's other stuff.
Boring too.
See, I never really
about
watched
it.
that either, so I need to.
Yeah, I mean, I can get into it.
See, I was really into Samurai Jack when it was on Cartoon Network, and I haven't watched
Samurai Jack,
but I have watched some Primal and Dexter's Lab and stuff. I was a big fan of that.
Samurai Jack, I didn't watch a ton of, but I did try. I did watch some of the newest season, that last one that they aired on Swim, and like, I gotta say, at least like visually, there was some stuff in that blew me away. There's one scene. There's like a fight in the snow.
It's beautiful.
Where like, there are trees there, but you don't see any of them. It's pure white, and every time they ran behind a tree, like the just white silhouette would go over the character, and that just blew me away. Like visually, that show is stunning.
It's really gorgeous.
That's a big thing with Tartakovsky, is that his stuff tends to be like visually really, really interesting.
really, really satisfying. I mean, I always
I love
even
Dexter's Lab.
Dexter's
and
Lab
the original Clone
visually
Wars.
satisfying in its.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was
Yep.
was that him? Really? I see.
That's
I'm
my
learning stuff because I was too young to think about who the creator was.
That's my
so I
favorite piece of
enjoyed
Star
it.
Wars media.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people forget about it too, and it's really a shame because it's really
So
beautiful.
anyway, I'm wrapping up my theories and speculations and stuff here. So me being the investigator, speculator that I am, here's the breakdown of what's crystal clear and the questions we should be asking.
Yeah.
So the show is canceled. What does that mean? Normally means that the network is not going to proceed with the show in its current state. Production is halted indefinitely. Why that is, we may never know, or for the fact, need to know. Bottom line is, it sounds like it's politics.
Mm-hmm.
Money and contracts don't always mesh well with fan interests, unless, as we alluded to earlier, the fact that Venture was trending was by design, as some have suggested. So maybe there was a whole, like I said earlier, maybe there was a whole reasoning to get it trending two nights in a row. Then going forward, I don't know if it's still trending.
It's still the news article is still trending.
Which one, the
in
comicbook.com one?
That Adult Swim.
Oh, because I
just
know
in general
I know
as a
few
news
more have come
article
out
on
recently.
Twitter.
Comic Book was the first one to come out with the news, and then I saw. Wow.
CNN reported it, which I thought was
Wow.
hilarious. I saw it on
That's pretty
CNN's
cool. Wow.
front page in their entertainment section. So I think it's a lot bigger than
I think so.
Warner anticipated it ended up being. And now they're trying
Maybe. The one I'm
Maybe they're
thinking
trying to
of, I think
backtrack.
it came out today or yesterday by, I want to say Polygon, but I'm probably wrong, where the headline was Warner Media canceling. The headline,
It's a
the
really good
headline is
Polygon
like
article.
Venture being canceled by Warner
It
Media
is.
is the
I've
equivalent
shared
of MCU canceling Avengers before Endgame.
Yeah, because they did cancel it on a pretty big revelation. Which
Yeah, they're brothers.
I mean, are we allowed to talk about the pretty big revelation? Yeah. So it's like, so really, was the Venture Brothers? Was it referring? It wasn't referring to. Was it really
and
not
Doc
referring to
V?
Hank and Dean the whole time, and really the Monarch and
Oh,
and-
Did you
and
not see
Dr.
the last
Venture?
season?
Like that's.
I saw the last season.
Or she forgot.
Oh
I
no!
No, I didn't connect those dots. Like I knew
Well,
that I was like, oh God, they're brothers, but I didn't
Yeah.
think of like Venture Brothers as being like Monarch and Rusty.
Hmm.
I thought of it as Hank, which is the obvious.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, which is something that they've played around with before. Like season 2, it was like, oh, Venture
Right.
Brothers is now.
That's how it opened.
Doc
and
and
then,
JJ.
they kind of phase that out.
That they sort
Yeah,
of.
don't worry about it.
the
It's all
whole clone
clones.
thing. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's clones. They're fine. They're fine. They never died. They're fine. But yeah, like they ended on that note, and not only that, we ended up, starting to see Hank
Right.
and Dean drift apart. It's kind of bittersweet if it is the ending that the final shot we saw was Hank in his Batman mask. Like, and I think the final line of the last episode is, "I am the Bat. I will become the," or it's like something about
God.
becoming the Bat
I
in
wonder if
the
still-
Hank.
I
Batman
found
mask.
Party City one year had the bat mask. It wasn't the Ben Cooper one, but it was pretty close. I'll put it in the show notes because I'm wearing it at one of my birthday parties when Venture Brothers is playing in the background. But I am the Bat.
He is
I don't
Are
know
you
which
the
one
Bat
I am.
then?
Maybe I'm Robert Pattinson.
The night is mine. Or just ruining costume parties. Just ruining
Anyway,
so many
getting back on
group
track,
costume
so-
contests.
To me, the term canceled doesn't necessarily mean the end of the show. If you asked me a few years ago, would we see 12-Ounce Mouse and Birdman back on Swim, I would have laughed at you. So, I mean, plus now with streaming, there's other outlets than just TV. And in fact, talking about articles, Variety reported there may be discussion for Venture to continue on HBO Max.
Yeah, which is the big fan push right now that my podcast I know is a part of, which people are saying is stupid because, again, they're comparing it to what happened with Metalocalypse, which is...
I mean, what the fact that they were trying to push it for Hulu?
No, the fact that... See, I don't remember, because, like, for a while, I checked out for personal reasons from pretty much all things swim and sort of just focused on myself for a while. But apparently during that time, Adult Swim streamed them recycling fan petitions and fan mail asking for Metalocalypse. And it just seems like it's
and again, I've
speculated
speculated and I kind of know a bit. And that, bluntly, that I think there was a lot of bad blood between Brendan and Swim because of that rock opera.
Yeah, I think I think he burnt a lot of bridges at Swim.
Yeah, I can't.
Whereas
there is
like
no comparison.
Doc and Jackson. I can't think of a person who has a bad thing to say about either of them, except for maybe
I think
Voltaire,
that's staged, though. I think that's
with Doc
work.
Hammer, like that's about the only person I can think of who has had ever had a bad.
I have no
say
complaints about Dr. Jackson. I love the hell out of those guys. I loved talking to them on the red carpet. I loved being part of that almost.
They're hilarious.
Documentary that the people from Adult Swim UK came out and they invited me to join them and Doc and Jackson at a New Order show. So, you know, I have much love for Doc and Jackson. Let's put it that way. I mean, hell, I'm wearing a Venture shirt right now.
Yeah.
Doc and Jackson were the highlights of every New York Comic Con pretty much the entire time I went.
They're the highlights of any con I attend.
The one year they did the Let's All Smoking panel in New York.
I think I did both the red carpet upstairs, and I just barely got into Let's All Smoking that year, I want to say.
I love that panel.
Because they've done Let's All Smoking before. They did it at Dragon Con, too. I think a couple of years.
I didn't actually know that until like after the New York Comic Con one. I don't know if they did the whole like intro thing where that Air Supply was going to show up.
Yeah.
Featuring Air Supply
and everything.
That was epic. But yeah, moving on. So yeah, HBO Max is definitely an option, especially considering Warner Media is putting a ton of their eggs in HBO Max. Right now, they're even going as far as putting in. Originally, they had an offer where they were doing pre-orders for instead of $15 a month, it was $12 a month for the first year. And yeah, it's a new promo now that just came out recently. They're still doing that. So, and they're in need of content to lure people in. So, what better way to give the Venture fandom a reason to subscribe?
Yeah, because right now all they have is really the really big, lucrative one, unless you're into like anime, kind of. And even that is thin. Is South Park?
Yeah, they spend a ton of money on that too. So that was a big investment for them. And then
they have
all these other. I don't know. I don't understand what.
Oh,
they got friends, but that's owned by Warner Brothers though.
Oh,
that was a big push.
Yeah,
but that's owned by Warner Brothers. So
well, because like they did the thing is I remember them taking that off of Netflix and making that their big like, hey, we got friends, come on over.
And I don't fully understand how it works because, like, I get that, you know, South Park was being shopped around and the highest bidder got that. But, like, Comedy Central sold the rights off to a couple of their shows that they were getting rid of. Like, I forget the names because I'm not really big on Comedy Central lately.
Some of their stuff went to CBS All Access.
On CBS All Access, and the rumor is they're going to build on that for their own streaming thing, where it's going to be like a competitor to HBO Max and Peacock and Disney Plus. Yeah,
because we need more.
Yeah, because I mean, and you know, cut the cord. Meanwhile, you still need the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I still have the cord, and then I have all of.
I was like you, Rilo. I was like, no, I've got to have my cable. But then when we moved to our new house, we have a forest. Is like we're in the middle of it, and the dish guy came out.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can't get signal anywhere. So we just switched to Hulu, and it's been fine. We don't get Comedy Central, but there's nothing on Comedy Central worth watching to me right now.
Yeah, and I mean, even like the bigger stuff like Daily Show, you can get clips on YouTube. Yeah. I mean, then they canceled the best show on the network, Drunk History.
Oh, they canceled that?
I don't know how.
Yeah,
I don't know how they canceled
the big
that.
ticket item. Yeah, they
maybe the thing is you can't have a show with Mark Gagliardi in it.
Who's Mark Gagliardi?
The guy from Hal Lublin and Mark do the We Got This podcast, and they do voices in Venture Brothers. Hal does Wide Whale.
He was also
right, and the Taylor too. No,
Mark is Rocco, Wide Whale's.
Oh. Rocco, like Rocco's Modern
I
Life?
think that's
no. Well,
actually, wait.
I thought I saw it because I was running Hulu like nonstop.
Well, yeah, I wonder because I know Stephen Rattazzi did a voice that wasn't and I want to say maybe that was Enzo, but I could be wrong.
Oh, maybe. Who knows?
That wasn't Dr. O. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? The cast is it's
so
vast, but
just wrapping up my thoughts. On the flip side of this, besides the streaming media, Swim TV is actually hurting for content because they lost Cleveland to Comedy and King of the Hill to Comedy Central. I don't know if it's rumor or if it's confirmed that they're soon to lose Family Guy and Bob's to like in the next year or two.
They are soon to lose. It's confirmed. They lose Family Guy by this time next year, and I think they lose Bob's a little further.
Right, because American Dad is on TBS.
But they retain American Dad. It's on TBS. But they are losing Family Guy and Bob's, and those are moving
technically,
to
I think
FXX.
Yeah, Family Guy. Yeah, because Family Guy runs on FXX, and so does Bob.
Simpsons.
I think Family Guy also is on Freeform. Yeah,
it is.
I think so.
It is.
I mean, Freeform doesn't. Doesn't know what it wants to be anymore.
No,
you know, they were literally
They-
riding the
they-
Hogwarts Express for like all those years until NBC bought the rights.
Yeah. Well, that's also where they wound up sticking the Simpsons reruns when they took
right,
FXX,
and now they're
Freeform.
milking the Halloween stuff every year with the Treehouse of Horror.
Hocus Pocus 24 hours
and Christmas
on October 31st, which is Halloween, which is like the third greatest day of the year.
Is it 24 hours? Because I thought I read that it was Hocus Pocus and Ghostbusters this year.
What?
They just
what? That's
it might be alternating.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No.
Is that
Hocus? Can you force feed someone?
I can only see Hocus Pocus so many times.
Agreed.
I love Hocus Pocus, but I can only see it so many times in one day.
And this is where the show broke down.
I need.
I was one sentence short of my thesis.
And I need. No. I just need to say, to quote the two creators in question that we were discussing this weekend at DragonCon, I believe they called Ghostbusters a feel-good busting film. And if that isn't the perfect description of a good movie, I don't know what is.
So
okay, but seriously, like 24 hours of Hocus Pocus plus seeing it almost every day in October is like no. The best.
Too much.
Okay, maybe you don't understand. But when you're 10 years old and you see Thackeray Binks running around in his nightshirt and his like pants, and you're like, I want to get me one of those. And then when you're an adult, you're like, oh, Trish, because maybe he aged well. I don't know. I got to look him up.
No, no.
And then it has a talking black cat. Hello, black cats are the greatest of all the cats. And then he talks. I have a cat named Binks now because of Hocus Pocus. And she is amazing and mean and like to hiss and scratch me. She's the best. Besides Sabrina, who's sweet and fat and loves
yes, you love your cats. We get it. All right.
That gag's going to translate real well to the audio version of the podcast.
No, keep it in.
Yeah, I got like 2 sentences left. Let me get through this and we can talk about other stuff.
Okay.
So the other thing besides the Fox stuff going away soon, the recurring theme that I've noticed is Swim lately has been burning through their newer properties. Like Yellow Crystal, like they doubled up on episodes, and 12 Ounce Mouse, they ran like one night a weekday. So it was,
why did they do that?
I don't know. Like I have to go back to Mouse because there's so much elaborate shit in Mouse that
Yeah. Talk up. Talk about out of left field things that I did not expect.
Again, the show that was canceled was now
Ozma
back.
Coming back.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it wasn't one of those high demand shows.
There is a big fan base.
I mean, I love
Osmo.
I
think
love it.
It's in the same ballpark as Venture, but it's pretty up there. But,
oh God, no. But
yeah, a lot of people were clamoring for a new Corndog Central, to be honest. And some dude was like, "Oh, I saw the domain was available, so I picked it up." I'm like, "Okay, cool. As long as you're gonna, keep the spirit of Mouse going, then that's cool." But yeah, so they're burning through these properties, and I don't get it. So an 8 to 10 episode season ends up wrapping up in a month or less. So what is the future of Swim? What is their end game? Or what is their future game like as far as this?
Mm-hmm.
Are they planning on grabbing like non-Disney / Fox syndicated stuff from like Netflix? Or
yeah, I was wondering that too, because I know like Comedy Central they got BoJack.
And then
they got
what is the one that was on Netflix? Tuca and Birdie, I think it's called.
They dropped BoJack.
Yeah, Tuca and Birdie.
Tuca and Birdie.
People that did BoJack.
Tuca and Birdie, they saved.
Yeah.
It was a monkey's paw. We got Tuca and
Birdie. And who knows if that's
2.
even the case? I mean, I was
lost Venture Brothers.
I was complaining that Warner Media is putting all this money into a Wipeout reboot with John Cena and some ridiculous thing that I can only explain is like Extreme America's Got Talent. I got the email saying, there's a big announcement. We can't contain this to one network. And then someone's like, oh, who's the silhouette?
I did too.
Like Practical Jokers? And I'm like, wait, that looks like Cody from AEW. That looks like Snoop Dogg. And I'm going to guess on the rest. And I was right about them too. But I'm like, what is this? And how much money did they put into this? Because
why?
I get
they put the whole
I know I posted that on
that.
Facebook and I get that people are like, well, it's not in the same demographic, but still, it's money.
It's money, and it's money.
I'm fascinated by that just because I saw the ads, I saw that trailer, and they filmed it in a drive-in during COVID, which is fascinating to me. Are there people?
True.
Any live action thing that's managing to happen right now is fascinating to me, to be honest, which also brings another thing that I don't know if you're going to mention, but animation's about the only thing that can be safely produced right now.
So, I mean, again, what is the future game for Swim? Are they going to grab the more syndicated programs? Are they going to dig through the buried classic content? I mean, I don't think we're going to see, 8 p.m. Minora Team and Fat Guy Stuck in Internet or something like that. The other thought I had was, are they just going to dial back on the time? Are they going back to like 9, 10 o'clock at night? I can't.
Or 1 day a week. That's the other thing.
I can't see them going back to 2 days a week. I mean,
you don't see it going back to 1 or 2 days a week?
Unless they were going to put more classic stuff on Cartoon Network. Like if they went back to like the O Canada stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Like Cartoon, or like the Harlem Globetrotters and Gary Coleman.
I was just going to say Gary Coleman, the Angel.
Hong Kong.
I remember that.
Flintstones. If they went back, if they did that route, I could see them either dialing back on or cutting the days of Swim, but I don't. I mean, there were rumors for a while that they were going to start a whole channel of Swim, but I mean.
Well, they did in Canada.
And it's weird.
And the schedule for it is kind of odd. But like,
although Harley Quinn just moved to HBO Max.
Harley Quinn and Archer in Canada. So and it is a Warner property, so who knows if that may.
I mean,
but then again,
and that's the other.
Yeah, but I can see it.
That's the other thing. Speaking of Harley, I know I think they're struggling to keep afloat too, because I keep seeing tweets from random people. I don't know if they're in charge of the show or not. Like, oh, please keep watching on HBO Max, and we'll get a 3rd season. And I'm like, you know what? I've noticed parallels between Harley and Venture, and if it's a case where they're only going to greenlight either Venture or Harley Quinn, I mean, I know which one I'm going to go with is Venture.
Yeah, and also, I mean, Harley Quinn,
right? And that's why I would
say the Venture is
it's
free
a little bit more rated R than Venture is
by a long shot. Not only that, there's some like kind of not okay jokes in Harley Quinn, like that are just like which is reminiscent of, like, I mean, I put a trigger warning before season 2 episodes because a lot of them do discuss some things, but then again,
that's the thing. A lot of stuff has changed between 2006, 2007, and now. I always make the excuse, that's part of why a lot of the episodes of Swimcast are buried in archives, because there's a lot of stuff we used to say. Insult the bot from Fat Guy. I mean,
like what?
That's
insult
not cool.
the bot from Fat Guy.
I know. Like,
oh yeah.
You are a.
Can't say that. Can't say that anymore.
Although I was running the Channel 101 version on Twitch, and every time I got to that part, I'm like, I don't know if I should be running this.
Yeah, like I used to make a lot of jokes about stuff, and now I'm like, I can't believe I joked about that.
Yeah.
Which, so Harley's doing those jokes now. That's the problem that some people are having with the show, and I mean, I could see how Venture would be a safer bet with that too, because even Doc and Jackson have grown as writers and as people as everyone else has, and they can certainly read a room. I mean, like, they used and
I noticed someone put it on one of the groups
the first season or 2,
Tiny Attorney. The quote from Doc. Yeah.
He but his mom, he says in the art book about Ned, he wanted to address an issue that his mom had with the show, which was she worked with kids with learning disabilities, and that's not okay. So they did something to sort of like be like JJ helping Ned, when Ned's getting to make choices, and we don't say that word, and so I mean, so it's like there's growth in that writing, and it's not as offensive anymore.
Someone was actually trying to.
I mean, there's problematic characters,
dispute
but they
the
don't
fact
talk
that the
about
last
it
2
anymore.
seasons weren't that good, and my answer back was I disagree. The last seasons, if anything, have been the best storytelling and like amazing stuff.
What they had to, I know. I think there's an article that I refer people to. And it's like, you need to watch. I know it's super hard to get through the first couple of seasons, but you just need to get through this because it's so good. Here's this article. They completely reset the universe, and it's great, and it works, and it's so beautiful.
Yeah, and I was trying for the longest time to get my wife.
There's a great payoff
in the show because when we first started dating, I'm like, okay, I'm an Adult Swim guy. I don't think she's gonna like Aqua Teen, which I was totally wrong about. She does tolerate it. Which is the one show that everyone likes that is tamer than most and has a plot? Venture. So when we started dating, I made the mistake of showing her the pilot.
Yeah, that's a mistake. See, even my co-host hasn't seen the pilot yet. We're like, okay, right. We'll go back to it eventually, but. Doc and Jackson.
So then I tried showing her. I think the season finale where they blew up, and she passed out halfway through. She wakes up as they're exploding, and she goes, "What happens? What happens next?" I'm like, "See, now I have you." So then she watched. I think what was the episode? It was either one of the Cremation Creek episodes, or she watched the Killinger one, the first one, the first.
I know why the caged bird killed.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites, I think. From that. So
that is.
I think she watched that and she passed out on that one too. So then
on that one,
we had to make when we moved in together and got married. We made each other a deal, and the deal was
that's such a good episode.
You watch Venture, I'll watch Outlander. Which fine, I like Outlander.
I want to watch Outlander so bad because I'm so. Scottish guys with kilts.
The Scottish guys.
Or Swedish guys in kilts, right, honey? They can't hear you.
Anyway, wrapping up my whole spiel here about what's going on in Venture. It's really anyone's guess what ultimately happens. But obviously for now, it's sounding like all eyes are on HBO Max since the Variety article said they were in talks. But, just check back with us, check back with the Twitter machine, and, I'm sure someone will have news. We'll be on top of it, hopefully.
Can we talk about the good news now?
Eric Andre
following it like a hog.
Yeah. Okay, when Eric Andre first came out, I was like, "Oh my god!" Every day he breaks the fucking
that
set,
came right on the heels,
and it is so annoying. But the more I watch it, the more I'm like, "Oh my god, please come out with another season!" Like the episode where he was holding hands with strangers. Like he would touch strangers.
That whole first season is amazing.
I loved that. I was like, wow, if he had done that to me, I would have held his hand because I would have thought, this guy probably needs some human contact.
Although in this day and age, that wouldn't fly.
Yeah, because why else?
I mean, I would. I hug strangers all the time before COVID.
No.
Oh,
I'd hug you too, even though you can go fuck yourself for not liking Vince the cat. Vince the cat. Can you see her?
It's not that I don't like Hocus Pocus. It's not that I don't like Hocus Pocus. It's that I've been oversaturated with it. I am a 28-year-old. Okay.
I mean,
I am
go fuck yourself if you hate pumpkin spice.
Pumpkin spice lattes.
I have never experienced either of those things.
Jason, the Starbucks on Highland.
I'm an
you go there.
Guy. I'm an apple cider guy.
I don't know how you think I'm getting to Highland Boulevard right now.
Is there no way? Is there not a way?
I can't drive. I can't drive, and I am not taking public transportation during a pandemic.
Oh, okay.
John, take him. Pick him up, John. You have a car. I know you have a car.
I can't move my car. It's in a
John,
public parking space.
I'll fucking DoorDash some to myself or
didn't
something.
my wife promise you we'd pick you up?
Apple cider donuts.
Oh yeah, that was the thing.
Well, get him the PSL and then get him the donuts and go have a party with him.
I have never in my life seen Hocus Pocus, and I've never in my life had anything pumpkin spice, and I do not understand
Jason.
spice or
See, here's my issue. Here's my issue as a member of the LGBT community, and as someone who's in their 20s, I am surrounded by pumpkin spice everything and hocus pocus. No,
when
it
the
gets early.
spirit
As soon as
opens
spirit
its doors,
opens,
it is
all,
pumpkin
it's
spice
pre-game.
season.
As soon as spirit opens in the
from
closed
our
pair one.
doorways.
Okay, Rilo. I am also a member of the LGBT community,
as soon as spirit opens,
and I am
in
37.
the pair one.
And I would just bathe in Hocus Pocus and PSL all day long. I want to get some Ugg boots. I want to be basic as fuck.
But see, there is an age. There is a gap.
I'm sorry, I'm not hip to
Like,
what
I'm
the
on
kids
different
are
ends
into,
of the
but
age,
Hocus
of the
Pocus is
generational
timeless.
spectrum. There, though, still.
I am part of the community as well. And like, I don't know why none of the people in my friend group have ever talked about Hocus Pocus. My whole group is a group full of weebs, and they all watch a bunch of anime.
Friends with the right.
That's all they care about.
Yeah, see, you're with the weeb part of the community. I'm surrounded by
fair.
I'm a theater gay. I'm a theater gay. So I'm surrounded by pumpkin spice and Hocus Pocus all the time during spooky season. And it's
Okay, but
it's
what
too
about-
much. And it's not even that I don't like pumpkin spice. It's just it's too much. It's too much.
It's not.
And also it's stupid to call it pumpkin spice because it's not the flavor of pumpkin.
That's a hot take.
But it's the flavor.
Oh, he's breaking up the wife.
I
will say.
Oh,
I haven't had pumpkin spice, but I will say my fall drink is apple cider.
Friggin' another person.
Say, like, have you tried the apple drink?
Hot apple cider is the best thing.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Just
it is agreed. Completely
We have
agreed.
dairy-free almond pumpkin spice creamer.
Is this?
It tastes like pumpkin spice.
Yeah, see, it's called pumpkin spice, John, because it's not the flavor of pumpkin.
So it's like an Oreo.
It's the flavoring that they add.
with every product, we stray further from pumpkin.
If splitting hairs there.
So it's
the fact that it's
name.
called creamer when it's not cream. Milk.
Oh yeah, no, that I have issues with. I could go on so many tangents about
Welcome
the
to our
variations of milk. And
welcome to our non-dairy podcast.
Like, this is the shit I. Welcome to the Milk Cast.
From North
I'm Rilo, your milk judge. Everything that doesn't come
how you gonna
from
go
like
milk? We got the milk.
Anything that is. You got it. If it doesn't come from here's my and it may be
came on the show. You've been on the show twice already.
I may be losing podcast followers as I speak. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that.
Rilo's been on the show. When was that?
The Comic-Con one.
People.
Oh.
I was on for SDCC. Here's my hot and but preferably served cold take on milk. If it comes from a nipple, it's milk. So
I believe that was how Lewis Black explained
soy
it too.
milk
He was
doesn't
like,
count. You could call it milk. It's not milk.
Unless there's such a thing as a soy titty, then it should be milk.
What if almonds are tree nipples?
It makes sense that I
Thank you, Velociraptor.
Real quick. To get back on topic to Adult Swim,
we're an Adult Swim podcast?
No.
And PSL and Hocus Pocus.
Well, no, this is the section of the Milk podcast where we talk about our favorite television network, Adult Swim.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I have to get this out before I forget it again because I forgot it earlier. But I wonder if they're showing YOLO Crystal Fantasy like back to back like they were, or Osmo every day like they were, because people are so into binging now that they're trying to appeal to people who binge. Yeah,
that's my assumption because at this point the majority of television that people watch is generally on streaming services like Netflix and stuff like that. And when it does come out especially on Netflix, they just drop a season. I figure you have all these shows coming that they have in production, and you see how people's television habits currently are, and then you just snap.
It's weird. Yeah. My nieces were genuinely bothered by the fact that they had to wait a week between Mandalorian episodes. Like it's what
no,
this is normal television viewing. You have to wait to see
what
happens
streaming
next
television
week.
has done.
I've been doing it my whole life, but it
completely changed that shit into just sort of like,
kids.
Okay,
kids
you want to
don't
watch this show? Here's all of it
wait
now.
Yeah.
Here's the full season right now.
Oh yeah,
Spend a whole day
can't watch
watching
BoJack.
all of it and then cry in a corner.
It makes us both have not exponential.
Oh, John, BoJack's so good.
You haven't seen BoJack?
No, I have to watch it at some point.
Oh,
BoJack is so good, and BoJack is one of the only television shows that has made me cry every season at least one time. It's so good. Huh. That and there's a lot of really subtle jokes that I really love throughout that entire show.
Yeah, I really like that. And there's also some getting back on the topic of that we were discussing about swim stuff. Venture Brothers set the framework so other shows could do crazy continuity stuff. Like BoJack, they doubled down. Like there's it's like season 1 where they steal the D from the Hollywood side.
There's that. There's the running gag throughout the entire series that every time Mr. Peanut Butter gets a sign made, they include the instructions on the sign. I love that gag.
The instructions on the side?
Yes. Yeah. It's a very well layered show.
It's also on a cake, too. Like, that is one of my favorite gags. Yeah. But it's lots of stuff that, which I think is also why you're seeing a lot of support for stuff like that to come back for Warner to make a deal of some sort. I'm sure it can't.
I was going to say since we're back on.
I mean, it can't be hard to negotiate with.
I do on this one. I genuinely think that the Max thing will happen because like looking at Max and how it's been developing as it's launched. It's something where Warner Media has been trying to bolster a big library of not only just stuff from networks but also originals, and and they have a pretty decent library already that they're making of animated content. Like it's not even just you have Close Enough, and not only that, but you have originals coming from Cartoon Network. Like you have Adventure Time specials, you have Fungies, you have stuff like that, and I think that they probably are going to want to do something. Yeah. You're probably going to... Exactly, Infinity Train, too.
And I think I heard somewhere that they did a similar thing with Twitter where they gauged the fans' interest because they were worried they were going to get canceled or they were canceled.
Yes, yeah, and because Infinity Train was a pilot that took a lot of work for them to even start developing anyway. But I know I saw some stuff from season 3 that is dark as hell.
It's super good.
I really... I do think that one thing that they probably are going to want to add on to is adult animation that's original. Mm-hmm. And we talk about Harley Quinn, and I think that theoretically they could grab more of both, because you have Harley Quinn that's going to be a good promotion when they do the new Suicide Squad movie, and then you have Venture Brothers, which will bring people in anyway because it's already got such a fan base. So. A massively dedicated fan base. So I think that for a streaming service that's trying
dedicated fan base,
trying to make a mark and trying to get into this scene where there's so many other streaming services and they want to fight against Hulu and Netflix, like the big boys and stuff like that, they have a thing like that. I think would be a hell of a get for that service.
Absolutely,
and that's why I think that it's going to end up on Max for. Season, hopefully, and if not just a season, maybe even longer, because now they see, we have a thing here that we can hold on to.
Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, I know, like Kim Manning said during the showdown that it's crazy when you see it all panned out. You know, you see that they had this, but the way that I've always taken it,
because we don't talk about Venture.
Numerous interviews with these guys, meticulously. Is that?
No, I mean my interviews with Doc and Jack.
Meticulously. Not that you guys talk about Venture anything. Ever. No.
Wait. Did they talk about how it makes your poop black?
Oh, God. Well, see, here's the thing. I think when Doc's involved, it goes... Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I've seen... Okay, yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry to derail your...
Doc's involved, it goes a little further off the rails. But... No. But, like, when... Because there was a lot more chances to sort of interview Jackson alone with Doc having his health issues the last season or two. Because, I mean, he did Comic-Con alone for season 7. And I know Nerdist interviewed Jackson alone, which it's so weird to see either of them alone. But without the other. They're a pair. But he said, like, you know, we don't, like, we don't have an ending, but it's sort of like one of those things where we want to
forget who said it.
Turn the cameras off.
Maybe it was you, or maybe it was
the Venture family still keeps on living.
Like,
we just don't see it.
They got the first season or two, and they're like, we didn't really know if this was going to continue as long as it did, so we really didn't map it out. And I'm like, I don't know if I fully believe that.
From my various college studying of all topics Venture, I could probably teach a class on this at this point. It seems like Jackson had kind of a plan, but it drifted away from that really quickly because the plan was just originally, a parody of Johnny Quest and Tom Swift, and then it grew, and then Doc contributed stuff, and then all of a sudden they had multiverse with hundreds of characters,
right,
and locations and lore that could fill libraries. And every character has a name and a backstory. I think the Polygon art. It was either Polygon or Slasher had an article about right now about why you should stream it and why it needs to be streamed now, so that way it shows support. Why, if you haven't watched it, you need to watch it. It was like they showed the photo of at the end of the Morphic trilogy when they're all watching the Rusty Venture Macy's Day Parade float. It was just that photo, and it said, "Here's the thing: there are no tiny characters in this show. I could tell you, but they also they pulled. 21 and 24. They just picked them out of the Monarchs, just sort of background crew.
I have questions about Sergeant
I'm sure
Hatred.
Sergeant Hatred
did they
intend to become
going with the theme of we can't joke about things that we used to joke about? Did they kind of brush the whole former pedophile thing under the rug? I
kind of wonder if that was so they could get a toy, because that was the rumor too.
Yeah, no. That was the big thing. That was the big thing, is they had all the Mego dolls, but Toys R Us wouldn't sell a Hatred Mego doll. But this is not a Toys R Us cast.
Milk and Jeffrey and cartoons.
Wait, I have a question.
We talk about
Rilo. I don't know if you and Jason cartoons will remember this. John, what was the toy store? Was it KB Toys that was turn that frown upside down? Do you remember?
I can rattle off a number of that. If Rilo's saying it's KB, it must have been KB.
Was it KB?
We had We had everything in the Northeast. We had
I remember that.
Toys R Us, KB,
we didn't have a
Child World, and Kitty
City. That was the chain we had in my town.
So I looked it up, and it's apparently Kitty City.
Yeah, you guys live.
Who did turn that frown upside down?
I think if memory serves,
Lionel.
They have Lionel. Because Lionel was the train.
Lionel, that's the one I'm thinking of.
I've been had.
It had 3 different names. It was Lionel Kitty City, Lionel Playworld, and Lionel Toy Warehouse until 1990.
Wow.
I remember getting Silverhawks figures from Lionel Kitty City.
Wow, they folded before I existed.
I didn't get Dig Dug 1. I got Dig Dug 2.
Fancy.
Yeah.
I don't even remember Dig Dug 2.
Oh my god, it's just as good as Dig Dug 1.
Because the sequel is so much different than the first one.
Exactly.
Like saying Spy Hunter 2 is better than Spy Hunter 1.
It's like saying, Tetris 2 is way better than Tetris 1.
It's like Candy Crush versus Lily's Garden.
Don't even get me started on Lily's Garden. You did that on purpose.
Okay, Lily's Garden, though.
Fucking ads! The fucking ads!
Lily's Garden, though.
Stop! They don't.
Lily's Garden, though.
No.
They're great.
Someone made a YouTube and I saw it. I'm like, oh my god, he's spot on. He's like, these ads are out of control.
Brilliant.
But then you go and download the game, and it's another Candy Crush clone.
No, they are. I know, but I keep playing it because I'm like, it's like, this is brilliant. I want to keep seeing these ads. They're entertaining.
I've literally never heard of it.
And it's probably better you have it.
You're going to know.
It's probably better you have it.
Okay.
See, and the thing is, I just looked it up, and there's a whole article on fucking New York Magazine about what's going on with the Lily's Garden ads and how incredible they are. So that's the thing tonight.
Like fakes a pregnancy and like
they are the best. She fakes a pregnancy. She gossips about someone's dick size.
And it has nothing to do with the game.
Eggplants. Using the eggplants that she grows in her garden.
Maybe that's how Dig Dug 2 was advertised.
No, nothing.
Dig Dug showed up and said he was pregnant.
So good. They're so great.
Then he lied about it to get rid of his boyfriend.
And that is why
she buys a house.
And there you go. And that's why you bought the game, as opposed to the first one. She buys the house. But see, the point of Lily's Garden is you renovate the house. It's not really Candy Crush. It's more like garden
with the guy going through the pipe and then the key and then the keys.
The ads really mislead you on garden
That is so annoying,
but not in like a good way.
Right. But the ad is so annoying.
No, see that the game
was playing a game and he's like the pipe guy.
But you kind of wish it was the pipe guy.
I will never play that game. I will stick to my emoji blitz. So, do we have any other Adult Swim thoughts? Because I'm looking at it.
Actually, we do. We have a question.
Oh yeah.
Because I told Patrick several times if he wanted to ask a question, now would be the time, and so he said he did have a question.
Oh yeah.
He wants to know because he's a big Blu-ray snob.
Well, I think I know the answer already, but go on.
He wants to know if Venture Brothers is going to come out on a big Blu-ray set.
That would be awesome.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, exactly. But I guess we have to end it there then, unless anyone else had any quick thoughts.
I have quick thoughts. Her name is Binks, and she's the most awesome Binkster ever was.
That's going to be your plug. Jason, plug the Swimcast.
This is the Swimcast.
Thank you. Rilo, you got anything to plug?
Okay, yes, I do. Okay, so Venture fans, if you're listening to this, my podcast, Guild of Calamitous Podcast, is a rewatch of me leading my childhood best friend through the show. She has been completely hidden from spoilers. We're almost done with season 2. We recap every episode as we watch it. But if you follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Guild Podcast, we also have a pinned link on both of these to a link tree of contacts and a petition to save the Venture Brothers and to
can we put that petition
legally watch
in
the
show
show?
Notes?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I would love to sign that.
Give me the link and I'll sign that one. I was a little hesitant because there's a bunch of them, but if you have one that's acpnet.net, you can check out our Discord. You can check out Patreon for $1 a month. You can get awesome content through us. Twitter, all the other social networks there. AdultSwimCentral.com is coming back soon-ish, maybe. So we'll have a new website for that. And I feel like I'm missing something. I mean, thank you for listening to this. It's been awesome. And hopefully we'll be back with more episodes sooner than later. I'm forgetting something else that I want to
join
say.
the Discord. # Carl's Pool. # amazing.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing. Oh, and we're going to have a Venture viewing party tomorrow night on the Discord. So we're running out of time here. We only got like a minute and 20 seconds. All right, I'm cutting it here. Thanks, everyone, for coming. I'm going to leave the Facebook video up because I'm sure it recorded unless they have any complaints for me. But and YouTube, I don't know if it did. But thanks, everyone, for coming by, and hopefully do this again soon. Bye! # Save the Venture Brothers. Go Team Venture. Good night.
Go Team Venture.
This has been an Adult Swim Central production.
ACEN